This is Martha Lentz. She's one of the photographers that's in the show. Martha, tell me a little bit about your photographic career. Now, how did you start?
Well, the first time I got any recognition for photography was when I was about 11 years old, and I had a photograph published in American Girl magazine, which was just an etching on the beach, and I was pretty pleased. I think I got $10 then, and that was a big deal. And then, so I had kind of an interest, you know, when you're young and you get that kind of feedback, you think, oh, this might be something that I'm good at. But I didn't have many opportunities until after I was out of college, and I was living in Harvard Square, and I needed a job, and I got a job in a portrait studio there that was owned by an absentee owner, and so another woman and I ran it, and we did all the jobs in the portrait studio. It was very small, but we took the photographs using a big 4x5 sheet type of film, and we did the developing, and we did the printing, and we did the selling, and we did the cleaning up, and we did the retouching. And I did that for about 2.5 years, so I learned a lot from that. And at the same time, I had a boyfriend who worked in the Harvard darkroom, and so I got access to watching him. He also had a darkroom in his apartment, so I learned some darkroom procedures then. But from that time on, after I got married and moved to Maine, I really did nothing except take family snapshots that were pretty poor until my family grew up and I had a little more time and went back into it, starting with film classes at Maine College of Art in the continuing ed part. So it just sort of progressed from there over the last 10 years or so.
You've been involved in the local camera club for quite a while. How do you feel about the camera club and developing as a photographer? What impact does that have?
Well, the camera club that I belong to, which is the first live camera club in Brunswick, is quite a small club, but I've learned a lot from being in it. Just by seeing other people's work and hearing people talk about it, I've learned about photography. I've learned a lot about equipment. I've learned that people have very different preferences, and you know that there's not really one right piece of equipment, and there's not one right way to look at work, and people can be very different, but you develop concepts of quality that I really hadn't had before. When I look at pictures that I took 10 years ago that I thought were so wonderful, you know, I think, how could you possibly have thought that was good, you know? And the camera club had a lot to do with that.
Now, you've worked in both traditional photography and in digital. How do you feel about digital versus film?
I love it. I don't have a lot of time, and setting up a dark room and taking it down and all, and I'm also not a detail person. Mixing chemicals and attending to all of that is not something that's easy for me or that I'm good at. And what I like about digital photography is that I can sit at the computer for 15 minutes, a half an hour, and work on my pictures, and I don't have to make special arrangements to do it. It's right there in my house, and it's so available. And I find the quality to be very good these days, certainly.
Do you do most of your own printing, or do you send it out?
I send most of it out. If it's a print that's above 8x10 in size, I send it out. I do make a lot of cards and sell them at craft shows, and I do that printing myself, or anything for families, sometimes maybe calendars or something like that. But more and more I'm sending it out because I think the quality is good, and it's fast, and I've been happy with it.
I know that you've been involved in the annual here at the Chocolate Church for quite a few years. How do you feel it's impacted your work?
Well, I've been very pleased to be in most of their shows in the last few years, and I think it's wonderful that there's that venue for photographers now. It's given me some personal recognition that I've really appreciated.